Most of us have heard about the world-renowned Nobel Prize, but there's another major foundation based in Israel that's almost just as prestigious. The Wolf Foundation has been awarding special academic prizes since 1978, and a third of the fund's recipients have gone on to win Nobel Prizes. Dr. Liat Ben-David joins us from the Wolf Foundation with more. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So what is the Wolf Foundation? Tell us about this foundation.
The Wolf Foundation celebrates human excellence in sciences and arts. Regardless of nationality, gender, political view, or state, if you are excellent in your field and recognized by your peers, you are likely to receive the Wolf Prize. A third of our laureates have gone on to receive the Nobel Prize later on, such as Professor Shechtman, Israelis Ada Yonat, and Avram Hershko. We've given out the prizes to laureates such as Stephen Hawking, Peter Higgs, Marc Chagall, Zubin Mehta, Placido Domingo, and many other renowned artists and scientists from around the world.
So it's fair to say that you guys almost pave a path towards winning a Nobel Prize in a lot of senses, although your prize is also just as prestigious, especially in physics, correct?
In all sciences and in the arts. Actually, in the arts, it's mostly one of its kind. We give out a system of prizes, and actually Israel and Sweden are the only countries around the world that give out such systems, such prizes as a system, as a whole.
Interesting. Can you explain that a little bit more? What does that mean? There are 6 different fields, correct?
There are 8 different fields, each year we recognize 5 of them, 4 in sciences, 1 in arts. And together they are actually a celebration of people doing good for people. Yeah, it is a pathway to the Nobel Prize. So we're considered to be the prophets of the Nobel Prize many times. Our mythology says that when I call one of our laureates to tell them that they have won the prestigious Wolf Prize, they celebrate and then they sit back at the phone and wait for the phone call from Stockholm.
Wow. So tell us about Ricardo Wolf. He's
he
the
was
man behind this, correct?
He was a Jew who came to be the ambassador of Cuba in Israel in 1960 and stayed here for the rest of his life. Toward the end of his life, he felt that Israel as the Jewish state and the Jewish people who have always recognized excellence and academia and studying as part of what humans should do, an endeavor that is by humans, for humans, should have a system of prizes just like Sweden does. And indeed, his model was the Nobel Foundation. And he created the Wolf Foundation, which is embedded in a special Israeli law. We're probably the only foundation in Israel of its kind that is actually embedded in a law of the Knesset, which declares what the main purposes of the foundation are, who the prizes should be given to, what the foundation, how it should be handled, what it cannot do. So I think his vision was to see Israel as an Or LaGoyim, a light among the nations.
So how does one become a nominee?
Well, every year we have 2 parallel processes. First of all, I send out a call for laureates, for nominees, to more than 300 of the most leading institutions, both in sciences and in arts, whether academic institutions, research institutions, museums, orchestras, and so on. And we ask them to send in nominees. A person cannot nominate him or herself. You have to be recognized by your peers in leading institutions so that they will nominate you. And the nomination is very extensive. You have to have a full set of recognition, of recommendation letters. In parallel, we also create new juries every single year, which are international, and they're comprised of leading professionals in each field. So there's a separate jury for each one of the fields. And then we combine the 2. We send the files of the nominees to our jurors, who are from all over the world. And they deliberate and discuss, and they tell us who the laureates are for that year. I have to emphasize that all of this is done voluntarily based, and it's also confidential. So the jurors nobody knows who they are, almost nobody. And they're not allowed to actually reveal who they are and what their deliberations were. This is a way of minimizing pressure, bias, making it as objective and as impartial as can be.
So what is the importance of winning this prize? How can it help? What does it do? What does it symbolize, essentially?
Well, I believe that when a society gives out a prize, such as the Wolf Prize, we're recognizing excellence. We are saying this is the kind of people that we acknowledge, that we would like to recognize. This is what we want to be.
So you're promoting that.
It's role modeling, actually, because we're saying, and we've been using for the past 4 years, actually, we have been putting a lot of energy and effort into creating activities with our laureates, exposing them to the public, to young students, to high school students, researchers, so that they can learn from their excellence and from their path. Becoming an excellent scientist or artist is a lot of work. It does not happen overnight. It's not a one-shot thing. This is a way of life. And our goal is to turn these laureates into role models for our next generation, to say this is what we would like to be. This is the kind of society that we would like to develop.
So let's talk a little bit about the fact that this is an Israeli prize. What is that significance? The fact that this is an Israeli prize, but many of the winners aren't actually Jewish or Israeli.
I believe that the fact that we recognize human excellence, people for people, regardless of their political views, their gender, their state, or their age. The fact that we're sending out a message, if you're a human being doing good for other human beings, we appreciate that, and we believe that it is something that should be pursued by everyone. I believe that it stands to show a strong democracy. Regardless of everything that we hear around us, especially in the past few months and years, we believe in people doing good, and we believe in a society that believes in people. It's a democratic statement, and it's a statement of strength.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the next winners. This is an annual prize.
Yes,
and,
they will be receiving their prizes at the Knesset, again, by law. Every laureate has to come in person to the Knesset, to Israel, to Jerusalem, and receive his prize from the President of Israel. He cannot send someone else in his place. I also believe that that is part of what I said of humans recognizing humans. You can come to the Knesset, you will receive your prize, even if you do not agree or criticize Israel in other spheres. Still, we recognized you as excellent, and we will give you the prize.
Well, that's the main point, that, you know, this country is full of people who are open-minded and appreciative of human success overall. And it's great that you guys are doing this and that this foundation exists. And thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.